Hey, world. Being when we come back live. Food for Thought Live. Chilling in the garden tonight just for a little bit, enjoying this little break. Enjoying this little break, family. We'll wait a couple of minutes to see who's gonna join us in the garden. DG, what it do? Minnesota in the house. That's what's up. Hey, Black Pistol, what it do? Family, I sure appreciate you catch checking with me out. Also, too, if you didn't get a chance to what it do, hey. If you didn't get a chance to check out my video, I just dropped the Eddie Murphy SNL video today. Check that out, you know what I mean? Because I just want to do a quick recap on that because I thought it was very interesting. And it's really funny how, so-called celebrities, they become polarizing. I mean, if I talk about them, it's a polarizing situation, and it's cool because it just kind of give you an idea of how people really actually feel about these cats and not really understand that, just on a lower level, the comedians, you dig? And I just can't understand how, the landscape have changed where people are looking at comedians for political and economic, knowledge. They don't never give it, right? It's just jokes. And like I said, I had one comment on the video that Eddie Murphy is entertaining millions of people. You dig? Well, like I say, after so long, Corbell, what it do? After so long, you would think that there would be a high level of intelligence that's going to, have cats like myself see Eddie go from, Gumby and buckwheat to someone who can, like Dave Chappelle, give us some information. But just in case, Scorpio Moon, what it do? Just in case, because I don't want people to think that I'm, I'm just hating or just, talking out the top side of my neck. Let's get into this. If you didn't get a chance, family, to see Eddie Murphy on SNL, which is Saturday Night Live, it was pretty bad. Okay, but I'm going to just kind of break down because this is the Eddie recap. I just want to break down the reason why I said the things that I said. Okay, if you're familiar with the movie that's out right now called Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, a cat by the name of what's that cat that did Forrest Gump? Tom Hanks is playing this Mr. Neighborhood guy, right? Well, of course, Eddie Murphy used to play a character called Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. And I just want to tell you why I had a problem with it, okay? See, that's the thing I'm talking about. I was gone for a while. My neighbors used to be all black. Now they're all white. That's not funny to me. I mean, in this area, this time, that's not funny because, see, that's something that is really happening today. A lot of it, this gentrification, it's really happening today. And so you have somebody of Eddie's stature, and fame, actually ridiculing and making jokes about gentrification. To me, I just thought it was, I just kind of thought it was bad taste. Let's continue. The white people came and changed everything, and I'm still your neighbor. It used to be check cash in place of banana banks. You did, the area is clean and the staff don't stink. To me, that's come on, man. That is a stereotypical, shit that's been happening for 30, 40, 50 years, and we still doing that. And someone like Eddie Murphy, for cats don't see that blows me away because it's kind of lower level of intelligence when we get into understanding subliminal messages. Check cash in places, what they don't really understand is that a lot of those places, you know, people in lower economic neighborhoods, they need those places, those payday loan places, those places where they get loans. If you got 70% of the United States, can't afford a $400 emergency, Ella, what it do? Then that's telling you that these check cashing places that were moving into the neighborhood, these payday loans, the Cash Express, all those payday loan places, they was moving to the neighborhood and they was making a killing, charging just exorbitant amount of interest for those payday loans. And if you default on a $200, $300 loan, then you got to go back and roll it back. You got to go back and reapply again. They hitting you and hitting you and hitting you. And so a $200 loan, actually, when you get through paying it, can be like $600, $700. It's predatory, right? But when you are in a situation where financially you don't have that emergency fund, you did, or that cash sitting in savings account, or that cash somewhere that you can be needed in case of emergency, that is important. And so, like I said, they're making fun of this, right? And I didn't find it funny, but I digress.
It's your old pal, Mr. Robinson. So much has changed since we last spent some time together. My neighborhood has gone through so much. It's gone through something called gentrification.
Okay, he's going through something called gentrification. That's supposed to be fun, and the audience laugh. And remember, it's all a laugh track. So them people not in the audience really laughing. It's a laugh track. So when he say things like that my neighborhood has changed, and it's called gentrification. What is that about? Because see, when you're like myself, growing up in Austin and here in H-Town, seeing what happened in Third Ward, seeing what happened in Sunnyside, seeing what's happening, really bad in Austin, on the east side of Austin, which is it was a predominantly Afro-melanated area. But you go to Austin right now, you're talking about gentrification. You're talking about check cashing places being replaced with banks. You're talking about corner stores being replaced with baristas. Okay? This is what's happening. And so the question is that is never asked. And this was a question that was never asked really when you talk about the Katrina hurricane, when you talk about the Harvey hurricane. There were a large number of people displaced, family. Okay? And a lot of these people that were displaced were people that were living right at the poverty line or below the poverty line. You did? If they got displaced, where did they go? Right? But I digress.
Can you say gentrification, boys and girls? It's like a magic trick. White people pay a lot of money, and then poof, all the black people are gone. But where do they go, boys and girls?
See, and that's the kicker right there. Fernando, he said, but where did they go, boys and girls? Exactly. That's my whole point when I talk about Katrina, when I talk about Harvey, especially being down in H-Town when both of those hurricanes actually happened, right? And there were a lot of people missing. He's like, where did people go? They didn't just go from living in Ninth Ward or living, in Sunnyside or those areas in H-Town that was really hit down in Fourth Ward. Where did those people go if they were displaced, right? And they were just living above the poverty line or just above, where did they go? You dig? And so when I heard this with this Eddie Murphy stuff, man, it was like, people laughing about it, but it's really some really thought-provoking questions because things I've been asking myself for a while now, you dig? But let's see where Eddie said he went.
Back to where they come from, of course. Atlanta. Now it's just me by myself now. Y'all probably wondering how Mr. Robinson can afford to live in this fancy neighborhood. Well,
You did? So that's why I felt that I didn't like the Eddie Murphy SNL skit. When you see, you guys just kind of heard it, but if you're watching it, you can see he's uncomfortable doing it. I'm telling you, I've been seeing that cat do comedy for a long time, and that wasn't authentic. Seemed like it was forced. And then just the content alone, I just thought was, in very bad taste. So if you guys thought that was entertaining, to each his own, remember, we can always agree to disagree. But I just thought that was interesting. You did? Like I said, thanks for joining me, family. Hood Info Center, your moderator has left the channel. Please wait for a new one to be assigned. Jamie Rio, please be advised. Okay. I don't know what this YouTube moderator stuff is. If moderate the notifications, make sure all my people's getting notifications. That would be real cool. I mean, 'cause that's been a problem. You did. I'm not really concerned about people coming to the garden being disrespectful and using foul language. I mean, we pretty much got that kind of covered. So uh, I guess any type of you know good stuff you're talking, I'll be saying, okay, we appreciate it. But like I say, we gotta get those notifications up, family. Make sure you push the like button, family. Make sure you share the videos because, like I say, misinformation used to change your mindset can have some devastating effects. I mean, think about it. Financial education right now is not really taught in school, right? But Columbus Day is something celebrated when we know that's not even the case. He never celebrated. He never discovered America, but we still celebrate that stuff. You did, you know, Jesus Christ, his birthday isn't Christmas, but we still celebrate stuff. So it's like there has to be some type of breakthrough. And so I wanted to play the Eddie Murphy recap, just kind of let you know what my mind was when I actually did the Eddie Murphy video on the SNL question. I just couldn't understand it. You dig? I mean, it's just got to come a point in time where, you know, there's going to be someone with a voice that's going to be able to, have some more positive things to say. Oh yeah, Corbett, I seen that star out there. I'm always stargazing, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there. But just to kind of digress on the stargazing, family. Like I say, if anybody out there can give me or show me a live picture of the Earth, in space, I would love to see that. I've been, betting students and betting people $1,000 that that can't be provided, and I still haven't received it. And I'm not talking CGI. I'm not talking the blue marble. I'm talking something, legit. Not the ISS, the International Space Station up there, where it's just showing a little curve of the Earth. And these things is important because it kind of goes back to the cognitive dissonance. Kind of goes back to, things that we find way more important, opposed to, like what's really important, like building that wealth. Because, if you don't start now, these jokes about gentrification, it's jokes, but it's actually reality. Go to most of the cities in America and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay? So it's like, pay yourself first. You did. Put yourself in a situation, because I don't know if you guys are voters, or I don't think most cats in the garden are that, are that blind to understand that politics is really politics. But if you are a voter, and if you do follow politics, and if you kind of, into that, ask yourself a question. We know that, Congress has the right, the right to make law, to write laws, right? Ask yourself, why is it that presidential candidates, because right now you got an election coming up in 2020, why is it that the Democratic presidential election candidates are talking about giving reparations, but giving reparations to illegal immigrant children that were placed in those centers? And all the Democratic nominees, the Democratic candidates, all raised their hand when they said that they would agree to give, health care to all illegal immigrants. Now, the only reason I say that, bring it up, is to say this. It's not an accident that reparations is no longer in the conversation. I don't think that's something that should even be discussed, because all it is to me is global welfare. There's just a plethora of information out there, family, to gain your own type of wealth. Take advantage of the tax codes. There's 78,000 pages of the tax code, but take advantage of the things that's in there that you can benefit from. Trying to win the lottery is not going to get it done. Just having a job that's giving you one stream of income is not going to get it done. All right. So these jokes about gentrification is jokes, but it's actually a reality. And the only way you won't get caught up in a situation like that is to make sure that you build your current wealth, what they call your debt to income ratio, making sure your money is in a higher situation than your debt. Oh man, Scorpio Moon, there's no such thing as nuclear weapons. Come on, get out of here. Come on. Will I actually give people $1,000? No, I actually give one person $1,000, because I promise you that one person is going to be me. It's never going to happen. I've been saying this for like 6 years. Once again, let me put out the parameters. Dude, I'm not talking computer generated images. All right. I'm not talking, you know, the blue marble, something that's art. I'm talking about something live. Because see, something live tells you that whatever it is that you have, the technology that's going to give me this information is showing Earth spinning at 1,000 miles. You did, and all the other planets are in some type of axis where they spinning along. I mean, symmetrically, like not getting out of sync at all. Come on, how's that possible, yo? And so it goes back to me saying about you know misinformation. What's real information? What's real is if you make $40,000 a year and you young and you say, hey, you know what? I want to be wealthy in 5 years. Well, I'm gonna go stay at home. My mom save $20,000 a year, live off $20,000 a year, and do that for 5 years. Save me 100 grand, and then I'm gonna invest in dividend stocks and watch those dividend stocks grow and live off my dividends. That's real. But see, it requires a timeline. It requires some discipline. What's not real is believing that we're doing like this in space, right? And then when you walk outside and you look up at the sky and you see the sun just there for 2 hours, maybe moving just a little bit. Doesn't make sense. And so it shouldn't. I don't think you should actually be concerning yourself with that kind of stuff. And like I said, reparations. Let me see what LB Teachman says about it. Oh yeah, for sure. What's his name? Buttigieg, Daniel Buttigieg, the mayor that's running for president. And like I say, he's homosexual. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but let's look at this for a minute. You are part of a group that, if you say anything negative about that group, you can lose your job, you can lose your livelihood. As the couple that owned the cake shop that refused to marry two ladies or refused to bake them a cake based on his own religious belief, they tried to get him shut down. And don't forget what happened with Chick-fil-A. They tried to get Chick-fil-A shut down because of Chick-fil-A's religious belief. So what I'm saying is the hypocrisy, it's just amazing. And to have that guy, right, who, and I don't know if you know how many people in the garden are melanated, but, contrary to belief and contrary to this misinformation and the stuff you see on the television, contrary to all of that, that ain't real prevalent. I mean, let alone is it prevalent, globally, but that ain't a real prevalent situation in our community. And so when you hear that Daniel Buttigieg, whatever his name, Buttigieg just running president, not getting a lot of votes or not getting a lot of support from the quote unquote black community, why is that even an issue? Because evangelicals and a lot of other people have problems with it and they're not saying anything about that. And so my point is this: for him to say, hey, if I'm voted president, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I give reparations to the illegal immigrant children that were detained in those centers, and make sure they get a quick path to citizenship. Now, like I say, family, that's what I'm saying. This reparation stuff, I think it's trying to be, when they throw it out there so much, it becomes watered down. I mean, think about how many young people that actually really don't even understand what reparations even mean or what they're even all about. You did? 40 Acres and a Mule, Spike Lee just made a joke of that. Because you would think if you name your company 40 Acres and a Mule and you don't do anything or with your type of platform, with your type of fame, do anything to spread that information and educate the young people about that, it becomes just a fad. And so even like the civil rights just a fad. Anybody that feel like their civil rights is violated, they can be a part of that. When in actuality, civil rights back in the 60s was actually designated for quote unquote so-called black people. You did? Okay. No doubt. No doubt. Scorpio Moon, no doubt. I mean, anybody that's voting right now, please, I mean, you got to understand these people are elected, not selected, because see, you don't even know who these cats are. You got 430 something congressmen, then you have like 100 senators, and these cats be in office every year after year after year after year, and nothing changes as far as real policy. You did? I mean, right now, the president of the United States is a reality star. And if you don't believe that, think about what they advertise or what they show on TV all the time. His rallies, his rallies are like rock star shows, right? But then behind the real scenes, they don't know that the farmers in America don't even produce our food anymore. You did? Just the really, really big companies, right? Or that, you know, yeah, the tax code has benefited you if you're gonna take the standard deduction, but if you look at who really actually benefits from it, come on, man. So he is basically there to just entertain people, not to not to do anything. You did? Yeah. So so if anybody got a picture of the Earth in space, I'll give you $1,000. It ain't happening. It don't exist. I mean, you can go to NASA. Oh, never mind. You can't go to NASA because NASA said all the moon footage have just vanished, vanquished, just out of thin air. Just it's not in archives no more. Okay. So you do what you want to do with all of that. You do what you want to do with Space Force and SpaceX and all of that. You think it's an accident every country in the world have a space program and none of them can show anything live. They only can show CGI. You think that's an accident? You think it's an accident that something called the Arctic Treaty exists, where all the developed countries come to, as a treaty, said no one's going to go to the Antarctica without permission? Come on, man. Y'all can agree with that, but you can't agree on U.S. and U.S.-China trade, where you know that there are millions and millions of customers being harmed by it and millions of manufacturing jobs being killed by it. Okay, you do the math. Okay? Like I say, you are basically consumers to the end. You're not getting out of this existence because, you know, uh, even if you're religious, it tells you in Genesis that there's a firmament. And like I said, we do some definition, do some research on the term firmament, it tells you about like something like a dome shape. You dig? So ain't nobody getting out of here, right? We live in this consciousness in this physical state underwater, but the water we actually under is oxygen, okay? And that's why there's no going into space because there's no space, you know? I mean, let's use your own cognitive knowledge. You did? Yeah. Because see, as long as there's October 14th, Columbus Day, Christmas and Thanksgiving, all these particular holidays that the masses of people are infatuated with and continue to perpetuate, of course nothing gonna change. You dig? And then people get uncomfortable when you have to actually confront this. So a lot of times, it's best to just kind of stay in your lane and pay yourself first and get this financial knowledge. Supporting Eddie Murphy and these cats that are actors and comedians, those are not the people you want to be talking about or want to be, reading about. You probably want to read more about guys like Charlie Munger, read, Benjamin Graham, Napoleon Hill. Cats are talking about making money. You dig? The Wall Street Journal. You dig? Investors Business Week. These are publications and information, that you can actually read and learn how to be wealthy and actually have a game plan. They're actually showing you and telling you how to do it. I mean, just a simple thing like George Casey and the richest man in Babylon. Pay yourself first. You did? Not worrying about Oprah Winfrey and Eddie Murphy and them. I mean, and I'm sorry, I don't want to ruffle no feathers, but if you follow Oprah Winfrey, I'm gonna shout out to my boy G Money because he brought something to my attention about Oprah Winfrey, but I've always kind of been squirrely about her because it just didn't seem genuine. And when she opened that school in Africa and all those young girls were being raped and abused, and this was the Oprah Winfrey School, and she's kind of like one of the untouchables. It didn't stick to her. I was kind of like, I'm not feeling that. You did? And then have her associated with a cat named Jeffrey Epstein. She's associated with him. I'm not feeling that. And the guy Weinstein, she associated with him. These are all people that are sexual deviants. And these are all situations that she's been associated with people that are doing some terrible things. And the last person, like my boy G Money was telling me about, I don't know if ever heard of this cat, but if you're from the United States, you're a little old, you my age group or whatnot, you remember there was this cat by the name of Jim Jones. And what he did, he was this this pastor, this minister that had his own church, and he convinced his own congregation to go to a country or go to Guyana. And then and while he was there, guys, he was, he's raping girls. He was impregnating a lot of them. He was, you know, doing drugs. I mean, he was actually had this kind of messiah mentality. His name was Jim Jones, which ultimately what he did was actually, which I think is a psyop, but what he actually did was had most of the congregation commit suicide by drinking poison, cyanide. Right? Jim Jones, they called him. It was in Guyana. They called it the Guyana tragedy. Okay, so basically, let's. Okay, so basically, let's make sure we get this Justin Band guy out of here. I don't know who that is, but apparently, out of the hundreds of thousands of video channels and YouTube channels you can go to, he come to mind, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate it because remember, if you're not ruffling any feathers, you're not going to really make a change or make any type of dent. I mean, it's cool to have everybody agree with you, but if those that come with some, you know, with some, reservations, apprehensions, I can dig with. But the cast that's just coming with some, with just negativity, you got other places you can go. Appreciate you though. All right. So like I said, and when I leave up out of God, I want you to look up a guy by the name of John of God. And I'm going to leave you with this information. This cat named the name of John of God, he would be basically similar to Jim Jones of Guyana, but in Brazil. And he actually was arrested back in January, over 600 cases of rape. And they actually had some type of sex for him out there. He was actually called this minister. He called himself John of God. All right. And guess who co-signed for him? Oprah Winfrey. All right. So, you got to understand, you associated with a cat named John of God who's been arrested for by over 600 rapes. His congregation was actually basically, sexual assaults, rapes, some homicides. This is who Oprah Winfrey was around. So don't worship these people because you don't know these people. Okay? Get information that's going to better your life. Get information that's going to improve your wealth and your financial situation, especially your health. You did? Oh, yeah. Okay, well, man, I got a couple of companies, man, paid some dividends. Like I said, AT&T. And remember, family, right now, and when you do your research, remember, right now, the market is overvalued. You did? And so the prices that you're paying for dividend stocks right now, the prices that you're paying for equity stocks right now is pretty high. Okay? If you got change right now, and what you can actually do what they call dollar cost average, I mean that you can just put some change aside and then you just every month or every whatever invest in these companies. But I'm telling you, company, like I said, it's for entertainment purposes only. But I'm telling you, some 3-4 companies that I like a lot. Right? I like Ford. I like AT&T. There's this utilities company called AES. All right. Another company called EPD. These are the symbols, family. I'm gonna put them in the description box. Okay. And IBM, Coca-Cola, McDonald's. These are all companies that pay mad dividends. Right. And just imagine if you he said, just imagine if you get you 2 or 3 of these companies and you just build up your dividend portfolio. You can live off of that. All right. So I'm gonna put that information in the description box, family, and give you the symbols of these companies. Like I said, for entertainment purposes only, but just think logically. If you build up 10,000 shares of stock in AT&T, and AT&T is paying you 52 cents a share, that's $5,200 every 3 months that they're paying you. I mean, let's just do the math. But you see what type of sacrifice you make. So when these cats, that's why I don't understand when you say all these professional athletes go broke. I can't understand that because if you got $500,000, $1 million, man, you can just invest in just the S&P 500 in the index fund and get and your money gonna get on the average 8 to 13% a year because on average the S&P 500 yearly outperforms everything. And so just conservatively, these guys could be making millions of dollars. Okay. Well, I had one. I don't know who this cat is. Bean Willie. Okay. I don't know who this cat is, but let me see him. Let me just go ahead and do him like this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do him like this. We'll do him like that. Okay. But like I say, family, it's you know, just brush your shoulders off, man. I mean, like I said, if you ain't got anybody disliking you, or you ain't got anybody coming into the garden, coming onto my channel saying negative things, if that ain't happening, come on, man. So, family, we don't want to entertain all that. When I see it, I'll go ahead and go ahead and get them all. But it's gonna happen sometimes. It's gonna happen sometimes. But I digress. Right. So let's just on the realistic tip. And I really appreciate you guys, Angeline, what to do. I really appreciate you guys coming in the garden and whatnot and asking these questions because, like I say, there's a difference between the real actors and fake actors. These real actors are these politicians that's playing this game, talking about impeachment, talking about this, talking about that, but not really doing anything to help benefit us. You did? And then you got the fake actors like Eddie Murphy, like Oprah Winfrey, like these guys that are comedians and entertainers, professional athletes. These guys are fake actors because they're not doing anything to better the situation from a totality standpoint, from a macro standpoint. So from an individual standpoint, you know, it's out there, especially my young audience. I'm telling you right now, family, man, if I'd have knew this information 30 years ago, wow, I'd have been staying at the crib with my moms and my dad and them, saving my change, investing in, well, at that time, Microsoft, Apple, Google, you did? And imagine right now, family, and do the research because, don't sleep on just one industry, okay? Look into the biopharm industry. That's the pharmaceutical industry. Because remember, these companies, it's not an accident, Mr. Smith, the guy who paid all the student loans for Morehouse graduate class, he was an investor back in Silicon Valley, California, in biopharmaceutical companies when they first started out, and they blow up. So you got the pharmaceutical industry. You have the energy industry, okay, consumer goods industry. Because remember, we all gonna eat. That ain't going nowhere. Okay, when you're talking about companies like Walmart and Coca-Cola and all these companies like that, they're not going anywhere. Okay, and then of course you have the up and coming cannabis industry, which you got plenty of time for that. But you think it's an accident that Congress just passed to make it legal federally? Now I'm just waiting on the Senate to pass it. You think it's an accident that Trump just passed the USMCA, which is United States Mexico Canada agreement, that is going to help facilitate, three countries being able to trade and make money? Come on. Scorpio Moon, like I said, we just talked about that in the garden not too long ago. He just mentioned RITs, guys. He mentioned RITs, which is Real Estate Investment Trust. Real estate investment trust, family, where you can actually be exposed to real estate investing without actually owning property, where you can actually invest in the company, and they are basically guaranteed, actually they have to pay dividends because a portion of their profits got to go towards dividends. That's why don't sleep on RITs. RITs are a great, great, great investment opportunity and great tool. Appreciate that, Scorpio Moon. Oh, they got the lottery in Mississippi, huh? Okay. Okay. Well, I tell you what, like I say, family, hope everybody enjoyed this little segment of the garden. Like I say, pay yourself first. I mean, it's going to be great opportunities out there. I mean, it's great opportunities out there now, but just kind of knowing the basic uh, knowledge of, what the three markets are, like the Dow Jones 30, the S&P 500, and, the Russell 2000, the NASDAQ. Those are four different markets that you can, invest in. All right. And most, like I said, the Dow Jones 30, those are the big 30. Those are the 30 top blue chip companies. But it's not an accident that the S&P 500 family continues to give, to pay, have good returns. And all that base you need, and all that basically means for someone who wants to invest is to get your S&P 500 index fund or S&P 500 ETFs. You did, and just getting paid off the dividends, all right, or the capital gains. Okay, yeah, and that real Black Friday family is going to be the one that's going to really, really help change your path into, you know, making it realistic. You know, a lot of people say they want to be rich, but they really don't understand the plan. They really don't understand the process. But it's so easy if you just have a plan to follow it, and set your plan, set some goals. You know, a 12-month goal, 18-month goal, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year goal. Okay, and then imagine, and then just watch it grow. Because remember, cash in the bank is not gonna get it done. All right. I mean, it's just like having cats in the garden, like that cat Justin. That's just, you know, no growth. It's a penny stock. You know, no growth. It's like a virus. You know, when you get a virus and they're around you, they want so much attention, and they tend to want to be somewhere where they're not wanted. That's a virus. All right. So appreciate it, Justin. That's a virus. You know. So, you know, we want to stay away from viruses. We want to stay away from cheap penny stocks like Justin. We don't want that. We want to deal with, you know, authenticity, deal with individuals that can actually bring you knowledge and bring you comments that can actually be beneficial, you know, not somebody who's still looking for a little attention, you know. I'm not normally, you know, I give them a little attention, and that's about as much you want to give them, you know what I'm saying? That'll get them straight. I don't know. I don't know. Jamie, don't worry about it. He good. We good. You know what I mean? We good. We don't worry about that. You know, we little virus. He good. So pay yourself first, family. Like I said, there's a couple of people that I want you to try to look into. If you haven't got a chance to read that book, The Richest Man in Babylon, check that out. You dig? You know, for the other individuals, like say Napoleon Hill. Let's see, last cap, Peter Lynch. Okay, so the three I'm gonna talk about tonight, family. You want to get some reading material. Peter Lynch, One Up on Wall Street, the name of the book. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and then there's one called, and then George Cason, The Richest Man in Babylon. All right, so those are three books, families, you want to read. That's going to increase your financial knowledge, get you in a great mindset, and help you understand, you know, just how simply easy it is to become, you know, to become in a better situation instead of being a part of that 70% of individuals in America that can't afford a $400 emergency. You dig? And then, of course, for Justin, family, you know, if you want to read something, guys, we have a Piggly Wiggly or Looney Tunes. You know, we got some cartoon books for you if you want to get into that, Justin. So I'll get you to that too, okay? All right, family. In the meantime, between time, may the Most High decided to bring you joy. And thanks for joining me in the garden. Make sure everybody join me next week. Or actually not next week, but this week. So I'll be back here probably tomorrow. So I'm going to see everybody in the garden. Justin, Angeline, Scorpio Moon, LV Teach Me, DG. Let's see here. Let's see, who else? I hope I didn't miss anybody. No doubt, my boy KY. Who else? Embracing Deja. Who else? Let's see. Jamie Rios, I appreciate you, brother. I know AA Black Pistol was in it for a minute. I don't know why y'all put him off, but that's all good. We'll see what that's about. And I think that did it right there, family. I think that did it right there. Oh, Ella, appreciate you joining me in the garden, Ella. Embracing Deja, appreciate you. Let's see here. Okay, I think that's it right there, okay? All right, fam, I'm going to get on out of here and everything. We're going to go ahead and get ready for tomorrow. But in the meantime, between time, family, may the Most High side to bring you joy. And being Willie's out of 5,000. Hold on, let me just... Tiger winner. I'm okay. Make sure I ain't... Okay, Tiger winner. I want to make sure. Byron, no film, no doubt. Byron. And KY the Pimp, boy, you know I'm still doing my thing. All right, fam. Now, in the meantime, between time, I'm out of 5,000.